A quick reaction to Man City versus Real Madrid.
Hello, good evening. Welcome along, as Micah would say. What's that thing you do when you welcome everyone in? None of that.
How about that way? Not tonight, Kate.
Okay.
Hey, I don't blame Mika today because if I would be in his position, I'd react the same way, right?
Champions League semi-finals are now clear. Should we take a look at the updated bracket now that the quarterfinals, both legs have been played? So here is what we have got. Dortmund against PSG on the one side of the bracket. Bayern versus Real Madrid on the other side of the bracket. It could be either an all-German final.
Oh, it's going to be an Mbappe final, isn't it?
That all-German final was at Wembley.
In
Dortmund, Bayern Munich,
yes.
2013.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Good job, I saved you there.
Saved me from what?
Buster, that is.
You didn't know, did you?
Didn't know what?
That final was played before at Wembley.
Nobody asked me the question.
No, but you were the host. You were talking about an all-German final. A nice little bit of information for the viewers.
I was about to continue my sentence, but then you rudely interrupted me, so I didn't get the chance to do that.
Jamie is looking for some of these stats that doesn't have Real Madrid. He's looking for a scenario where Real Madrid is not going to be there. Anyway, in the past it happened. It doesn't matter, right? One thing I have to say, if you see all the four semi-finalists, like most of the pundits predicted against them. Like no one predicted Real Madrid would be there against Man City. No one predicted PSG would be there against Barca. And same for Dortmund. If you look at all the ESPN's prediction, everything happened against their prediction.
Thierry, how do you feel?
Good.
You do?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a somber night for Premier League football, would you say? Arsenal out, Manchester City out?
Yeah, but it's about winning it. When you have Real Madrid on your way, obviously Man City managed to do it last year. The year before, on the way, Real Madrid beat every single team from the Premier League. So it is what it is. I think for me, it's not so much of a Premier League thing or not. So as you can see, you have two German teams there, a French team and obviously a Spanish team. But I think at the end of the day, on the night, and I know Man City had the ball and they were pushing and this and that, but the way they played defensively, Real Madrid, is just astonishing. And I know, yes, they had one shot on target, that was the goal, but City didn't have a lot, just that crossbar, and that was about it.
Holy, Henry totally nailed it. I mean, in fact, if you look at tactical battle this season in Champions League, this could be one of those battle, like one of the best tactical battle. If you play against City, there's one thing you cannot have possession, right? It's almost impossible, especially when you play at Etihad. Although at times I did not appreciate it. I didn't like the way Real Madrid played. Like over time, we were just defending. But at the end of the day, if you defend as a team, and if you win, hey, what does matter in football? A win. I mean, as a fan, yeah, we would love to see a little bit more beautiful attacking football. But at the end of the day, what we care is a win. Say, if we would play, say, more attacking football, and if we would lose, that would not be acceptable, right? That's the last thing we would accept.
It's weird, is it, Jamie? Because I guess it's a reminder that in European football or on a stage as big as this, as big as the Champions League, form isn't always what necessarily matters, certainly if you look at the Bayern-Arsenal result.
No, and I've said this before plenty of times. The team who wins the Champions League is not necessarily the best team in Europe. And I think Real Madrid, a few occasions, we'll see what they do this season. I think in the past, they've won. I think they beat Liverpool in the final we had a couple of years ago. They find a way to win. So I think they've played Manchester City now, I don't know if it's 3 times in 3 years or 3 times in 4 years. They've beaten them twice, and City have been the better team. But Real Madrid, there is something special about that club that have a hold on the opposition, a mentality, a belief they are the best team in Europe. And they beat Manchester City here on a penalty shootout when the last shot was on target, was in the 12th minute of the game, the goal. A couple of years before, they beat them with 2 goals in the last minute. That was just to take it to extra time. So there's something about this competition at Real Madrid that puts them on a completely different level to anybody else. Because anybody watching that game and didn't know the names of the teams, you'd say it was an absolute mismatch. And this team here are one of the luckiest teams you've seen to get through. But we know it's Real Madrid, and that's what they do.
So even when Jamie Carragher tries to praise you tries to give you compliment, he still doesn't want to give you compliments. He said, yeah, okay, in Champions League, Real Madrid is different category, right? They're a different team in Champions League. They always find a way to go through. And also he said, they're one of the luckiest team to go through. I mean, anyway, that's beside the point. I mean, it's total waste of time to argue with Jamie Carragher, how he thinks, what he says. Also, he said better team doesn't always win. I totally agree. It's not about playing best football. It's not about having lots of possession. It's not about having so many useless shots, right? It's about scoring more goals than your opponent and ultimately winning. Doesn't matter how you do it. Another thing, most of the pundits fail to mention that. Look at Real Madrid's team. Look at our striker. There's no number 9. There's no striker. And still, we have beaten one of the best team in Europe. That's only possible because this team has a lot of qualities that other team don't have. For example, they have unity. They play as a team. And one thing what none of the other teams have that Real Madrid has is belief. They believe that no matter what's their situation, they'll get through. They'll be back. For example, when Man City scored the equalizer goal against Real Madrid today, if it would be any other team, they would give up. But this Real Madrid team knows that, okay, it's just equalized, right? The match is still on. They didn't give up. They kept fighting for it. And that's what Real Madrid DNA is. Never give up, regardless what the situation is.
More bitter to go out, Mikey, when you believe that you were the better side?
No, I think Jamie summed it up perfectly. I think you can't always win it. Man City, of course, were the dominant team, but it matters at the end, isn't it? That is the difference. It went to penalties. It's 50-50. On the night, Real Madrid got the win. Like Thierry said, they defended so well. I think Man City would just be frustrated within themselves to dominate the game like that and not put the chances away. When you've got players like Haaland on the field, who we've talked about so highly, not managing to make a proper impact in the game. Foden at times, isolated on that right, went into the middle, the second half, looked a lot better. Kevin De Bruyne got the goal as well. I thought Kyle Walker, as I mentioned before the game, did really well with Vinicius. But that man on his screen there, Bellingham, he didn't stop running all night. He is a proper talent, and there's no bitterness from me.
Anyway, I don't disagree much with Mika, honestly.
I don't know why you stopped talking.
Someone just said, shut up a minute, Micah. I didn't know. Yeah, I mean...
Oh dear. Jude Bellingham, you're talking about him. He scored his penalty. Let's go through some of the key penalties that we saw really make it.
Okay, I have to point one important point. A lot of fans are saying that Jude Bellingham did not have a good game. Maybe you should look into a little bit more details, right? He was in a different role today. The way he was playing, as Mika said, he was running all day. He was trying to stop all Man City attacks from the start. I mean, people don't understand how important that role is. Like, you literally have to run all day.
And we're talking about the penalties, and we talked about Bellingham, and we all know that he is that glue to that team. He will link the midfield to the two strikers. But Carvajal, sorry, you took a yellow straight away in the game. You have to defend the whole night on Grealish. Then Jeremy Doku. What a game. This is why I always say, football, yes, and I love the way City plays. We cannot talk about that. It is outstanding. But there is something called defending. You can also control a game defending well. And Real Madrid, and I know people will say City was the best team.
So this is why I like Henry. Like, most of the pundits would give an biased opinion, right? But Henry's like, no. He says what he sees. He doesn't have any kind of biases. Despite he played our arch rival club, Barca, right? And he rightly pointed out that defending is an art. Defending is so important in football. A lot of people don't realize how important defending is. And today, the way Real Madrid defended, oh my God, that's insane. Like, everyone, they were running for their life. That they were defending as a team. And he rightly pointed out, Bellingham was insane for defending the team. And Carvajal, despite he got yellow, he was defending, right? And then Nacho, We were critical of Nacho's performance, but today, the performance he has displayed today, phenomenal. This is what a real Madrid player should be, right? What it does matter, they show up. And the fact that Foden did not have clear-cut chance to score from that space that he liked to score, that shows that we have better plan this time against Man City to defend. We closed this space as soon as possible. And that was critical. And only way that was possible because every player played their game.
What would you say about the performance of Andre Lunin in goal for Real Madrid, save two of the penalties, the Manchester City penalties? Not a keeper whose name we're hugely familiar with, I think, in terms of the way you have been in years gone by with Real Madrid keepers.
He was probably third choice keeper. And you think Courtois, obviously, he's been out injured. Could argue the best goalkeeper in the world, sitting in the top 2 or 3. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, but Arrizabalaga.
Perfect.
Is on loan from Chelsea. He's gone in there. He cost a huge fee. He's gone in there and he's replaced him. And I've just told you his record there: 10 saves and 26 penalties, and he was outstanding. Listen, let's not forget he made a big mistake in the first leg early on from Bernardo Silva's free kick. So the personality he showed as well to go away to City, keep them in check, and then basically he'll be the hero now. He'll be all over the back pages in Spain.
Listen, today's man of the match is none other than Lunin. Like, he had insane performance, and those 2 penalty saves was so important for us. And one thing, when we were going for penalty shootout, I was more confident that we will win against Man City. Not because we have better players who can take penalty than Man City, but because we had Lunin. Because I know that Lunin is so good at penalty. He saved a lot of penalties. And if it would be Kepa who would be playing this game, we would not save a single shot. We would probably concede all the penalties. Anyway, I'm kind of out of energy today because I drove 5 hours and had to watch this game. It was really exhausting for me, for mentally and physically, because when I was watching this game, oh my God, it's really, like, I was literally shaking. Like, every time Man City is having ball in our box, I'm shaking. And during the penalty shootout, I couldn't even relax. It was so difficult for Real Madrid fans. But at the end of the day, we endured the pain, we suffered, and we won. Now we feel euphoric. We feel energetic. Now it feels good, right? One thing I said, a lot of pundits wrote out Real Madrid. They said Real Madrid doesn't have any chance, any shot at Etihad. That Real Madrid cannot go through by beating Man City at Etihad. That's what most of the experts said, except a few, right? For example, Simon Jordan said, Man City will trash. Man City will smash Real Madrid. He was so confident. I'll make a reaction video about all the pundits downplaying Real Madrid later on, but this is what I'll say. What pundits think, what they say, it doesn't matter to us, right? We do our job. We play our football. We know that if we play what we can do, none of the team can stop us. Also, regarding players' performance, I'm not going to name individual name today. Our team was a unit. That's what I'll say. Like, everyone deserves credit. Even the subs, like Lucas Vazquez. Oh my God. Today is not day that we will criticize each player for their performance. Today is the day to praise, to compliment our players for their victory. Let me know anything about this game in the comment section below.